We'll see. Hey, this is Rich, and you're watching Star Wars Saturdays. Star Wars Saturdays is an ongoing campaign anthology of a tabletop RPG series of systems. So the idea behind Star Wars Saturdays is that I GM every Saturday, except for when I'm out of town or there's Gauntlet Con next month. Jazz hands. It's the worst jazz hands ever. And it's Star Wars Saturdays every month. I choose a different game system that we will kind of hack and square peg round hole into the Star Wars milieu. And the backdrop of our anthology is the original trilogy of the Star Wars movies. It is not required for people to be in any way a Star Wars nerd. You just kind of have to have seen the original trilogy. Everything else we'll make up, or we'll go to Wikipedia, which I love that little rabbit hole. It's a wonderful, wonderful website. And so this time here in September of 2018, we have been playing a game called Misspent Youth. We are halfway through. We're going over the hump at this point in the third session of 5 of Misspent Youth, a game written by Robert Bull. And in Misspent Youth, the default is a sci-fi setting, but you're playing humans who are youthful offenders, young kids going up against a terrible authority. It's very punk, super punk oriented. We've reshaped this for the player characters set on Ryloth, which is the home planet of the Twi'leks. The Twi'leks are the very attractive, except for Bib Fortuna, because seriously, who hit him with an ugly stick? They are the alien creatures that have brain tails, or Leku, as they are called in Star Wars, lexicon. So a long time ago, far, far away, there was this species of humanoids known as Twi'leks, and they came from a desert planet that was known as Ryloth. And in this time frame, we are setting it during Empire Strikes Back. So Emperor Palpatine has a firm grasp and control of the majority of the galaxy, right? The rebels are off in some snow planet way far away. And these guys are playing Twi'leks who are young Twi'lek who are part of the subjugated here on Ryloth. And the Twi'leks are considered a slave race by the Empire. And so there is a great deal of oppression going on here. Things such as, and we'll give a little bit of a content warning, basically the potential of threat of forced impregnation, because there are reproduction pushes, and there's also there's a re-education camp for people who are homosexual or asexual. And so just content warning, those are threats that are on the board, right? There's also slavery. So the content warning is pretty much loss of choice. And that is what you guys are struggling against. But that is, a little bit of a content warning I want to give at the outset here. We do have the X card as our safety tool. So even if we've defined a system of control or a threat that we want to deal with or have as part of our story, if at any point it causes you to feel uncomfortable to the point where you wish to withdraw from the game, you are no longer having fun. All you need to do is just X card. Even if it's a thing that you've seen earlier in the same session, if you hit that point where you need to disengage, or you'd really need us to kind of step back, you could just hold up X card. We're using roll for your party as our web die roller. There's an X card button on there that will pop up for everybody, or you can just type in the Google Hangout chat X card. Any way that is most comfortable for you. I'm not going to challenge you on what you've X carded. I'm not going to try to talk you out of it, because I don't have your lived experience, right? And there are certain things that I certainly don't want to deal with. And if they came up, I would X card the heck out of them. What I will do, though, is I'll try to understand what the context is so that we as a group can take a step back, write our way around that. It's now a block. We're not going to deal with that. We've X carded it. It's off the table. And we'll write our way around that. And I'm not at all worried about the ingenuity and creativity of this group of fine folks for us to be able to find ways around anything that might bother you. Okay? So yeah, we're seeking to play punks who are pissed off about terrible things going on in this fake world that we've created together. But that doesn't mean that you need to not have a good time doing it. So we have a new player that has joined us, who, if you've watched any of the other Star Wars Saturdays, you will recognize him, and he is not playing a Trandoshan. I'm proud of his bold choice. Blaze, thank you for joining the group. I'm glad that you had some free time in your schedule, and you bounced off the wait list because we had Keith was unable to make it, and Rory as well. So I'm really excited to have you aboard. And what I'd like to do is for our 3 already established youthful offenders, our yos. Who doesn't want to say yo? So it's like, yo, guys, I want you to introduce your characters. So, Steven, do you mind? I know I pick on you a lot, and I apologize. I'm going in reverse alphabetical order because Blaze is way over there on the left for me. So I'm going to ask you if you could introduce your character.
Yeah, no problem. My character's Jean Vray. She's about a 14-year-old girl. She's got scrounge clothing. She's kind of got everything kind of, pieced together. She has a pieced together or had a pieced together bike before it was impounded. And just, has lived on the street for a little while. Is tough, thrill seeking, can't, she has the youthful idea that, we can't die, right? We're immortal because she's naive. And sneaks around and takes things and sometimes loses her temper to the point where she is upset that she lost, a little bit embarrassed that she lost her temper so much, meaning she'll just jump out and, start hitting people if she's mad at them, things like that.
Very cool. And then as you guys are introducing your characters, of course, listen to each other. You already know these characters, but be thinking about your new friendship question. We're going to reorient because we've finished a full episode, so we'll need new friendship questions. And looking at how things are lined up. Noella, you will be asking a friendship question of Blaze's character. Blaze, you will ask a question of Paul's character. Paul, you'll ask a question of Steven's character. Steven, you'll ask a question of Noella's character. Is that good? So just look to the character above you in our character keeper, and that will be the person you ask. Except for you, Noella, you have the hard job of going all the way to the bottom. Sorry. Cool. So thank you very much, Steven. Paul, and thanks for helping on cam. I hope you're able, the bandwidth is working with you. Please introduce us to your youthful offender.
My offender is Herodura, and he is the son of sort of let's call him the main collaborator in this Vichy regime of collaborators. He's the governor's special assistant and major domo. As such, he has access to money in some way. We'll see how much he still has that at this point. He's a rebel in the classic rich kid rebelling against his parents by rebelling against the system kind of way. And he's not always bare-chested, although he is in the picture, in the character keeper. He's a snappy dresser, and he really just, he's full of just having grown up considering himself the cream of the crop, to now know that that freedom can be taken from him at any point is just awful. So he's full of just this rage, but still wants to be respected.
All right. Thank you, Paul. That is Herodura. And then last of our already established youthful offenders, our Yos, is Noella's character. So Noella, please tell us about yours.
So my character is Deodora, or Dee, and she is actually the cousin of Herodura, so she is related to this collaborating family, and she is a graduate of the reproduction re-education camp. And one of the things we talked about is that because of this influence of the reproduction re-education camps, there's kind of like strong like queer subculture that has developed, which is expressed through like little charms on attached to the ID bracelets. And so Dee Dee is 17, so she is on the older end of the youthful offenders and kind of like a little bit more experienced in that she's, you know, she's experienced some stuff. And unfortunately, at this point, she got put in a tight spot because Palakwi, the parole officer, came while her girlfriend was visiting, and they kind of had to make up a story about why they could not go reproduce with Ovasun, the leader of the Imperial Youth, and they can't just say he's creepy as fuck, I don't want to talk to him. So actually, Sean Gray kind of shouted out that both she and her girlfriend were pregnant with Heradora's children. And throughout last episode, we kind of saw that culminating with a very dramatic faked miscarriage scene. And that's a little bit atypical because she usually likes to use her very sophisticated like discussion and debate skills to get us out of situations, which has worked very well for us so far.
Yes, the dice have liked that's the particular modus operandi quite a bit. Awesome. Thank you so much, Noella. So Blaze, hopefully we haven't rushed you too fast. If you've got some ideas, again, we'll stay flexible if we need to shift things around, especially if after the introduction of these characters it caused you to rethink anything. But what are you thinking about for your character?
So right now I've got Rakuso. So Rock was born without, like, he was born with one of two Lekus. As a result, he was a giant shame to his whatever parents, and they just threw him out into the street. And spent his whole life in like whatever shelter was given to him, and it's like it's created, and even in a society of Twi'leks, like he's just not wanted in a society of Twi'leks. Like there's no space for him. So as a result, he takes space where he can. So I imagine that Rock tends to threaten as a means of communication and tries to accumulate as much as he can to feel like he has a place. So his quote unquote place would be his, like, I imagine that he's got a speeder van, like a van, like a 70s van that's got very little windows, and that I can just interact. The van itself is like very threatening. It's like it has a "don't fuck with me" almost painted on it, and so people will stare away. And so as a way to deflect, you know, what he looks like, he spends most of his time either in this van, and when he needs to come out of this van, he feels like an exposed nerve, and he always feels like he's got an inferiority complex, so he's got to stand up in front and threaten everyone around him in order to get the respect that he doesn't have because of who he is. Does that make sense, or is that too extreme?
That's great. The only thing that I would ask you add in is that these youthful offenders, like, this is your gang, this is your crew.
Yeah.
So they are definitely a part of, like, some people often will think of the youthful offenders as like their chosen family. So I think that there is definitely a friendship here. But that the rest of the world hates me thing, primo. That's great, and especially painful in this world. So Paul's got to go off cam for bandwidth issues. That's a-okay. I really like that avatar that you have, Paul. That's a mighty fine looking wizard character there. So
it sure is. We have good friends.
We do. We do indeed. And he says that because my Orc Lord avatar, drawn by the same guy, Alex Prince. He's amazing. You should check him out. His work's so good. All right. Thank you so much, Blaze, for introducing your character. Let's circle around and do our friendship questions. So friendship questions are things you will point towards. Paul dropped out. It may have been worse bandwidth than we thought. We'll bring him back in as we can. But let's start with Noella this time, so Steven doesn't feel always picked on. Noella, you are looking at Blaze for a friendship question. A friendship question is something we want to answer at the top of a scene when we frame a new scene, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a question that brings them in. It's effectively something that you think is really interesting about that character, and then you can even, if you want, you can effectively make up new things about that player's character that hasn't been established, especially for Blaze, because he's a brand new character. We don't have a lot of history. So, Blaze is up to the challenge. Noella, do you have any ideas for a friendship question for him?
Yes. So what trauma have we shared? And maybe thinking like before this youthful offender group, like in the past.
Interesting. Yeah, so think about that. And the way that will work is that while framing scenes, if someone chooses, they either choose which authority figure will be involved, or they choose the friendship question. We answer it at the top, and then we jump into the scene. So be thinking about that answer, Blaze. It's all on you, bro. Next, we will go to Paul. Paul, you rejoined us. We're working through friendship questions. Do you have an idea for a friendship question that you are asking of Jean-Frey?
Yes. Jean-Frey, what is the most significant thing you've stolen from me?
Nice. I like that. That's pretty cool. And then Steven.
Yeah. Diadura, where do you draw the line between telling the truth and telling lies whenever you cooperate or convince others?
Ooh, interesting. Can we make that a little more pointed? Like, is there a way? Because I think that's going to end up with a really broad answer of like, well, if this and then this and this. Is there any way that we could talk about a specific time when you, in order to convince others, you lied about something important, Steven, or what were you trying to get at? I just want to make sure I'm not losing the kernel of that.
Yeah, I was trying to hit at Diadura's talking ability and being able to talk people kind of off the brink or convince them to kind of help us out.
Mm-hmm.
And where she drew the line between herself and lying to others. So let's reframe that to be more specific by saying, when interfacing with the empires, the young empire people, or the empire in general, the cooperators, do you feel like you crossed the line into lying? Is that better?
I think so. Noel, is that the question easy for you to answer in one or two sentences rather than having to tell like a...
Yeah,
okay,
it's fine.
Good, awesome. And then Blaze, you've got a friendship question to ask.
To ask Paul or to ask Steven?
It'll be of Diadura. Of Herodura.
Yeah, me.
Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Okay, this is gonna be a bit weird. Why did you push me Okay, so why did you push me either in out of my comfort zone, or why did you push me into into a social situation? Why did you push me to meet others? Does that work?
I can work with that.
Cool. All right. Excellent. So we have our characters created, and we are going to jump into this episode. We'll take a bio break in like half hour or so, but let's go ahead and see if we can get past at least our first scene. I would like to frame scene 5. We're karked. Does anyone want to frame up the what's up scene? Here's my thought, just to kind of share with you my thoughts. I would love to explore the circus. If you guys remember, you guys were arrested at the spaceport. You were potentially going to escape the planet, but the ship that you were going to take off on was blown up, and then an ATST, that's the only 2-leg giant AT walker, came in, and you guys were all captured. I'd love to explore the idea of the circus, but if someone says the what's up and they want to frame something different, then I will roll with that.
Weren't we uncaptured by the end of the episode? We were in a back alley clinic.
Yes,
and the drug dealer walked in.
That's right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes. So yeah, you guys got captured, and then we kind of rolled past that in that you broke out of the APC because of the faked miscarriage, and you guys all escaped and ended up in oh shoot, the name of the little of the city that you were at escapes me. I will be able to find it moments from now. We will go with unnamed city X until I look it up, and I know where it is on Wikipedia. So you guys are in the city. You were hiding out. You know that it is dangerous wherever that you go. And the idea of getting back to your safe jobs that you hated anyway is probably not going to happen. You were in a bot. There we go. And yeah, thank you, Paul. So that was where we had introduced the authority figure of the Duros. Those are the big-eyed alien, kind of gray alien look characters, Elor Vuktu, who said he could potentially use you guys as drug runners, which gets us back to the idea of the tunnel runners a little bit, just not quite the same job you had before.
I think we also were able to modify the charm bracelets.
Yes, your charm bracelets are an exploit, so you guys have fake ID bracelets. Yeah.
If you want to tie that into the circus, we could say that our fake ID bracelets make us circus performers.
That's kind of neat. That's kind of neat. All right. You guys okay with that? Anybody object? I don't want to violate what happened at the end of the last episode, and I appreciate everybody bringing up the factors that I was kind of.
I'll frame the what's up and get us to the circus.
Oh, look at you, Paul. You're the best. All right. So if we go to the right, then I'm going to say that will be Steven in fighting back. Are you okay with that, Steven? Roll around to Blaze for heating up. Scene 4, we won. Noella, you get to frame the scene of we won. And then who wins? That's the pivotal one. We'll roll back to Paul. Paul, oh my goodness, Paul, you've got very important stuff going on here. And then Steven will handle Dust Settles. And last but not least, rolls back around to Blaze for Aftermath. And again, those are just the first. I just typoed your name really bad, and I fixed it. These are just the first 5 seconds, so don't feel like it's your responsibility to make the whole scene go. You just kind of, you can follow right from the last minute of the last scene. You can have some jump of time. It could be hours. It could be days. We'll work to it. We're creative folks. Paul, in What's Up, you observe the clique, their world, and their friendships. So this is a new episode. You get to frame us into a new look of things. What do we see? Oh, and right. Sorry, authority figure or friendship question? Sorry.
Let's do authority figure, and whichever one the the circus person is.
All right, that will be Sela Volya. If you guys take a look in the NPCs and notes, Sela's picture is there on row 8.
So I think what we're doing is we're providing a conduit for the not officially sanctioned spice, different drugs into the circus. So when we open, we're the four of us are sitting around. We probably have either blue milk or some sort of name the planet brandy, and we're at this point just sitting around backstage in our shared dressing room, likely complaining really hard about the stupid costumes we're going to have to wear.
Nice. Cool. So then I would love if we spend a moment or two with that excellent framing. We hear the kind of pop synthy music that's going on in the outside. The look of the circus is on the surface. There we go. The look of the circus is that there are smaller tents, but the display area is kind of a Thunderdome look. If you guys remember Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, so there are actually stands that are set up for non-Twi'leks, but a lot of people are actually crawled up onto the rounded dome cage watching the Cirque du Soleil-like performance. But we are in the dressing room for the group of you. So I will ask first, Jean-Vray, what is it about this particular outfit that you hate the most? Is it like the color, the cut, the style? What is it that really bothers you about the outfit you guys are going to be expected to wear?
Yeah, so I was actually separated out from the rest of the group because of my age. I'm a little bit younger than the rest of them. So I've been apprenticed. And my real job at the circus is cleanup. So my jumpsuit is a janitor's jumpsuit until I get good enough to go into, actual shows. And I don't like the janitor's jumpsuit because everyone looks down at me. They just toss trash in my direction for me to pick up and things like that.
Oh man, you get steal a lot of good stuff when they don't look at you though, huh? All right. Awesome. I like it. Good. And so we have that music, and I'm just gonna step back for a moment. I'm really interested in how you guys relate to Rock. Rock, they're working on for the circus. Do you have some kind of custodial or background work, or are you actually a performer despite your, horrible deformity? Blaze, I was talking to Rock, your character.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm sorry. I dropped into using character names and I didn't check in. So yeah. So Rock, despite your deformity because of your missing Leku, yeah. Are you part of a freak show? That's a great suggestion, Noella. Are you part of a freak show here?
Oh, that would be the most uncomfortable thing I'd ever have to do. So no,
okay.
The best I could do is the guy that puts the stuff into I carry stuff up to the stage or carry stuff off the stage. I don't think I could ever put myself in that kind of a situation where I'm looked at. I would just hurt people.
I don't imagine that you would be your choice. Now, if you play are saying you don't want to put your character in that situation, awesome, but you're kind of a slave. So if they said, hey, you're a freak show.
Yeah, okay, so it would be yeah, okay, so let's hey, whatever, let's try it. Let's see, let's find out what happens.
Nice.
So the scene is what? So am I describing the scene? Is that what's going on?
No, the scene is basically we're all sitting around in our shared trailer, and dreading what a what's about to happen.
Okay. So it's not just me that's dreading it personally right now. It's
Right. We have Theodora and Herodora, the two attractive performers who are probably in their outfits before they have to go out on stage. But you guys have all stolen a moment to commiserate and possibly bitch about things.
Yeah, it's crazy because I imagine I'm just gonna have to, like, they expect me to like just stand there and just stand there.
Noella, what are some things that happen at the freak show for Rock? Do they throw food at him? Do they just jeer? Do they like take pictures near him?
I think it's a lot of just like ogling him and the other unfortunate souls who are in the freak show, and I don't think they're allowed to take pictures in there. They have to pay for pictures.
Nice. That's perfect.
It's kind of like a little bit of an open like walkway, and there's people just like milling around. So it's like the juxtaposition of being completely exposed to these people who look absolutely bored, and like will occasionally like jeer at you or like say, and people can ask you to like do like different poses, and you like have to do them.
Blaze, you okay? Just checking in. You okay?
Yeah.
All right.
I just see the imagery really clear in my head.
Me too. That was still that actually reminded me of a scene from a Pretty Dope Street Station. So thank you, because that was a horrific scene. So yeah, there we go. Good. So that's what you've been dealing with, Rock.
Are we in the aftermath right now of this, or are we about to do this?
I think you're in the between phase. Like you've gotten a break. Go ahead and take a break, Rock. We'll see you back in a few minutes.
Okay. As I exit the stage,
I'm sorry. We are all together.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Specifically, how the scene was framed is that we're all together in one place to start. So she was just telling you what you have to look forward to.
Oh, okay.
Right, Rich?
So that's
yeah.
Okay.
And I think I answered your question wrong, Blaze. So yeah, you have, that is what you're going to be going out to do.
So yeah, so I'm drinking something, like I'm drinking like rubbing alcohol, like literally just something really, really harsh that I don't want to remember the next hour, and like whatever is on hand I'll have. So it'll just be like the scene starts with me rummaging through everything that we have, looking for what's the strongest thing that we currently have on our van or on our shelter or whatever, because like I can't do this. Like I will, like, and I actually turned to everybody and I'm like, I'm gonna, is this a PG-13 game? Can I swear?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's PG-13.
Okay. I'm going to carking like hurt someone today if I have to do this for more than like another, like, who's putting us up to this? Who's the authority figure in this? Sorry, I have a lot of questions.
The governor. It would be ultimately Governor Blackmore is the one who kind of put the circus in place. Sela Volya is the authority figure that has been highlighted for this scene, though. Okay. So Sela Volya would probably be the right name.
Like, I'm gonna Karkin put Celia's head through like a garbage compressor. Like, there's no way we're doing this anymore. I am done, and I just crack open the can of whatever it is, and I just drink it all. And I'm like, wow, like, this is Karkin unbelievable.
Hey, I'm sorry, man, but at least you don't have to wear. And I look down at the I have like a male ballet dancer package. I'm wearing like tights with that huge, almost exaggerated package. And package. Oh, I just made finger quotes, but you can't see me. Herodora likes being bare-chested. That's fine, because hella abs. but there's also body paint, and that is not cool. So he's looking down
and glitter. There's glitter
and glitter. Yes. And I'm purposefully being insensitive just to give Rock something to push back against so that he can get some of it out here and not get in trouble out there. So I totally am consciously being a dick right now on purpose just to give it a chance to come to the fore.
And it comes out. Like, it just like, I push him back and I'm like, you have it. Listen, you little rich boy, you've got it so easy. You have no idea. Like, the fact that you feel bad about putting glitter on you, like, look, Karki, like, I'm like, look at me. Like, I'm never going to be anything else but this one liquid, like, turd.
Hey. I think Dee Dee is wearing like a bejeweled like bikini, and like Chandray had been helping her like apply glitter to like every part of her body possible, and she kind of like steps in between them, and she's like, I know this is hard, Rock, and you know, none of us can understand what it's like for you, but we have to stay under the radar, or we're gonna get sent to jail or re-education, or we're gonna be either sent to jail, re-education camp, or worse.
Like, you know, it's maybe dying is not that bad. You know, how long do you want to do this? Like we do this for a week, a month? Like, how carking long is that worth you? Like, there's no carking way out of this beyond like taking our fists and like punching through. Like, well, what else are we supposed to do here? Like,
we're finding our way in so we can cark stuff up the best way possible, as thoroughly as possible. So if you just save it for a minute, man, just hold on to that rage. We will have our chance.
What's Chandray been up to during this scene? She's been kind of back in the background. What's going on with her?
So I think she helped. She's helping with some of the costumes. So she's, been applying some of the glitter to Dee Dee, and then she's kind of sewing back in the corner. She's got like part of a costume that she's kind of ripping apart and then sewing back together and things like that.
Nice. Just keeping yourself busy.
Yeah.
Involved in the conversation, but not actively participating.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because, all this anger and aggression really scares me, and I don't want to get in the middle of it because I might, do something I regret.
There's a... Hey, where's the freak?
and I answer like, I'm like, if you know what's good for you, you'll just call me my Karkin name.
And I think I kind of go to the door to try and prevent violence from breaking out here. And I kind of like, I think maybe Hiradura kind of pulls Rock back a little bit from the door, and I answer it. Who's at the door?
Oh, it's a stormtrooper. And the stormtroopers that work here at the circus are specifically instructed not to leave lasting harm on the talent. So they have everything set to stun and stun sticks that actually will make you like pretty ill. So yeah, he looks in. And, you guys have framed it like a trailer. So you open the door and you can see he looks in. Where's the hold on. Pulls up a little data pad. I don't know the name of this freak. Where is he?
He's not a freak. He is what's a good word for like like an attraction.
He's my friend, you idiot.
Nice.
Did Herodora say that, or do you want me to say that?
No, Herodora said that.
Awesome.
I'm not speaking for you.
Yeah, and I've Dee Dee has like kind of positioned herself in the doorway so that the stormtrooper like can't come in.
Okay. Yeah, the stormtrooper isn't trying to force his way in. I imagine there's like a step up into your small trailer. He just says, I thought he was mentally impaired. Why some kind of friend? We should just send him out. He has work to do. This is what you have to do here.
Even if he was, that didn't make him any less of a person, you Parker.
He reaches in for his little pistol. He says, I'm sorry. What did you say to me? He's got his blaster pistol.
In the back, I'm like, you fucking heard what she said. And then I like push her around and I'm like, now like, get the Kark in front of me because we're going in there. And I like...
It sounds like you're standing up at this point.
Yeah, I am.
All right. Good. So here's what happens when we stand up. First, you go ahead and you roll 2d6. That'll set your first number. And then I also have to choose a number. If what I'll do is I'll share my screen because sometimes with different window sizes, those tokens will move around. It's kind of crazy. So let me do that real quick.
Is it okay if I choose green?
You, for what? You can roll whatever dice you want. Yeah, if you want to roll green dice, let me just delete those selected dice. You guys able to see? Awesome. So here we go. What you'll need to do is roll 2d6. I don't roll the dice, so I'm not too worried about it. I'll just display. And then you're going to roll, and this effectively sets your number. So go ahead and roll that 2d6. All right. So you guys, I usually use red as bad and blue is good because blue is my favorite color. So good. You guys claim 8. And then I need to claim a number as the authorities. Give me just a moment because I have specific ones I have to claim by scene. I can claim a 3 or 11 because the 11 is on the same side as your 3 or your 8. I'll go ahead and claim the 3. And so now that we've kind of laid out, what is your hope? What do you hope to achieve in this conflict?
I hope to achieve that he backs off and just like does his job.
But his job is to bring you out to do the freak show.
Yes, my job is to bring me out to do the freak show and not like stun my buddies.
Not stun your buddies, not continue to insult and degrade you. Okay, exactly. Cool. Got it. So a little dignity is what you're after. I love it. Good. So go ahead and tell me what trait are you putting at risk?
I think I'm gonna put. Oh, sorry, I just have to find mine again. It's I'm gonna put tough.
Awesome. Yeah, because you rolled up in and kind of got in his face a little bit. All right, so go ahead and roll those dice again. You do not want to roll a 3. You do want to roll an 8.
Okay. Oh man. That's a 3 and a 1. Oh. That's a 4.
Yeah, you rolled a 4. Let's when you're doing this, if you can just delete the selected or just select them like this and this to where they're orange, then you can re-roll them. That way we don't have a whole bunch of. That's no problem. All right, so you've rolled a 4, which means that you claim the 4. Go ahead and in the claim area on your character sheet to the right of tough, just type in 4 in there. And so neither of these have kind of come to a resolve. So here's what happens, right? He takes out his blaster pistol. You get in the way, and he's going to. Here's what happens. Sorry, you can't see my pause there for a second. He says, "You're not talent," and he will punch you in the gut. and he's going to drag you off at this point. Who wants to stand up?
Rich, can I, before we stand up again?
Uh-huh.
This is sort of where we were in the very first scene, the first session.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't he have only rolled once every time he stands up? Because now we have 2 for us and 1 for you up there.
Right. I was supposed to have claimed a second number.
Okay.
There
All right,
we go.
good.
So I'm claiming 7. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Yeah, this thing lasted forever because I hosted it last time. Thank you, Paul, for the reminder. So yeah, you get punched in the gut. He is now going to drag you off, which is not at all dignified. Who stands up?
Jean Frey's going to stand up.
All right.
So as he goes to grab a hold, as the stormtrooper goes to grab a hold of Rock, I kind of step in the way and grab a hold of Rock, help him up, and say, I say, I whisper to Rock, I say, we'll get our time, and then kind of hold his hand as we walk along, specifically trying to take advantage of my younger, my youth. Yeah.
Cool. So then, which conviction are you?
I think I'm going to take sneaky.
That felt sneaky. All right, go ahead and roll.
Yeah. Okay. 6.
Got a 6. All right, so you claim the 6, and I am going to come over here and claim the 11. All right, so you start to walk with him, and he is actually going to, he's going to say, listen, custodian, that's my job. And he will aim his blaster at you, Jean Frey. And it looks like he's planning on stunning you and then finishing dragging off Rock. I'd say you've been able to kind of step up at this point. But you guys are off in an area that's a little secluded. This is the only stormtrooper who has come to move you guys along. Who stands up?
I can stand up.
All right. What do you do?
So I am going to use Pretty to try and use my feminine wiles to, get him to do what I want.
Cool. So you kind of step in between the two of them and look at him with an alluring. All right, that sounds awesome. Go ahead and roll.
9.
Oof, man, we're getting there again. All right, 9, and I will claim the 5. Oof, get over there, 5. All right, cool. So you step in the way. He pauses for a moment, and here's what he does. He looks over at you, Herodura, just so we're clear. And he says, if that's your friend, you need to drag him to work.
I will stand up.
All right.
I still have some of the anonymous cred chips that I managed to get away with. So I'm going to use Rich and try to bribe the stormtrooper. Just leave it be for a moment. And I will not try to roll the dice on your screen.
It's tempting, but it won't work. It came up as a 9 again.
No, yeah.
It's always a 9.
That's an 8.
That is an 8. Okay. So with an 8, that means you've rolled on the number that you guys had claimed. So by being rich, you've effectively won this conflict. So do you offer straight up credits, or what is it that Herodura offers to this lowly stormtrooper?
Oh no, it's a anonymous cred chip, one of those little cred chips. Okay. And basically what I do is I walk up like I'm going to do what he says, but I do that mafia guy tipping the Mater D thing where you kind of pretend and I reached for his hand and just sort of let him feel the chip in there and said, yeah, he'll get to work, but we need a couple more minutes. All right.
He glances down at his hand and back up. And, it's hard to read emotions because he has the stormtrooper helmet on, but then he says, carry on. You've got 5 minutes. He marches off. And, is there like a last moment before we bring the scene to a close?
Have a nice day.
Nice. What's Rock's reaction to that? Blaze, what's Rock's reaction to the bribe saving his can?
I'm like, I thank him, but like my anger is still seething. I just I try to push it back a bit, and I just stand down, and I'm like we can't we don't have enough to bribe every carking stormtrooper, and I just sit back down and I just finish the can of whatever I was drinking. Just
paint
nice.
Thinner.
Paint thinner. There we go.
Wow. Cool. So we are at about our halfway point for the game. Do you guys want to take a break, or do you want to push through to second scene? No reactions. All right. Well, let's push through to our second scene. Steven, that's one for you to frame.
Right.
All right. In this one, it is fighting back. The clique takes on the problem, which the problem that we've introduced is you guys are having to work really terrible jobs at the circus. And then the first beat is introduced, which I will be introducing that beat, whether it's a catastrophe, a complication, a discovery, or a reversal. That's no problem. Do you want to use an authority figure or a friendship question, Stephen?
Let's see. I want to bring in. Let's do an authority figure, and let's do the drug dealer Echo Sloss.
Perfect. That's very Elora Vuktu that's a perfect use of him, because we've already said somebody's drinking paint thinner to try to get high. So awesome.
Right.
What do the first 5 seconds of this scene look like?
So I think this is after Rock is at his job, and I think that the two performers have, we're all doing our jobs. The two performers have just finished their show, and they're coming off the stage all sweaty and glistening, and they are walking back towards the trailer, passing by where Rock is doing his job, and Jean Frey is cleaning up, whenever LR Vuktu kind of steps out of the crowd and motions to us.
Nice. Cool. So Elora Vuktu is motioned you for over, and yeah, you hear the music, the oohs and the ahs of the crowd. There's a few ships that fly overhead. It's starting. Is it nighttime? Is it starting to get dark? I just want to make sure I had the time of frame, like the backdrop. Is it?
Yeah, I think it's just starting to get dark, and that's when the major shows start.
Nice.
Since we're new, we're kind of in the beginner shows, and the major shows are going to be an attraction. Everybody's going to head that way.
Cool. So Elora Vuktu gestures to the four of you, says, children, this way. And then he will start ambling away. He's a little bit taller than most of you, but very thin-boned. And he is headed towards, just say it's one of the APC type. So it's like a big cargo van, hover cargo van type thing. It actually looks similar to what you guys were carted away in the spaceport. So it's part of the Terrestrial Authority program. And he gestures for you guys to hop into the back of his van there, and he heads over and he takes a seat, and you see that there is set in the middle one of his little hookahs that he has. And he's, come, children, take your edge off. You're working so hard. Close the door. We need to talk.
Jean Frey takes the pipe and blows in it to blow bubbles, and then passes it on. She's not exactly sure what's going on here. Yeah.
You should show your friend how to use this.
Yeah, I'll close the door and take a hit. Why not?
Nice. When Herodora hands it to you, Dee Dee, what do you do?
I pass it to Rock without using it.
Rock, I'm just gonna kind of color in a little bit. Like there's maybe like some dirt or something that was thrown at you earlier during your shift, as it were. It did not go well. Do you take a hit? Better than paint thinner.
Yeah, I do. I actually take 2 hits because I need to like cut the edge off.
Cool. This spice is highly refined and very potent. Jean-Frey, why don't you tell me about a time that you saw someone who was on the bad end of this particular flavor of spice? Is it a thing where it makes people absolutely delirious, or is there some kind of withdrawal? What is it this bad? What's the bad end effect, like the tail end of?
So I think it's kind of like wasting away. You see very, very thin, scrawny people. Whenever I was on the street, I remember seeing someone who was so thin that it looked like they were almost a skeleton, and then they started to convulse.
Nice. Lord Vuktu looks to the 4 of you, says, "Oh, such a shame all of the people that you have lost. I am glad that you have agreed to work for me. I know that we can find a way to make your lives more pleasant." Talk to me about Sila Volya. Has she dealt with you directly, the leader of the circus, or is she only using intermediaries?
We have not faced her directly.
Perhaps you are not trying hard enough?
What is it that you want us to do in regards to Madame Volya?
Madame Volya no longer wishes to participate in the pleasure of what I have to offer. I'm sure that if some of you were able to talk to her, she seems very closed off to me. Would you be interested? I could get you out of the circus.
If we do this, will you get us out?
Out? There is no out.
Out of the circus.
Get you out of the circus? Pauses for a moment. I will get you as much of this as you want, and he gestures to the hookah. Look, your friend, he likes this deal, don't you? He reaches over and kind of taps your shoulder, Rock.
I don't even answer. I just smoke out and look at him, and just like as my eyes start to glaze over, there's almost a sense of like, I'm going to cark and murder you, but then the eyes glaze over and just like, sure, whatever.
I think I also like kind of like take his hand and remove it from Rock's body.
And I think that Jean-Frey, kind of steps forward and kind of jingles her circus ID bracelet now and says, you said you'd get us better IDs. When do we get an upgrade so we can get out of the circus?
I told you that your IDs would no longer be used to locate you. That's already happened. I'm good on my word, little girl. The circus is the best place for you to hide, my friends. You can move our merchandise so easily. And what is it you have to do? It's not like you're down in the tunnels from before. So the two of you have to fly about and wear these attractive outfits. And you have to clean up after people. Jean-Frey, is that not what you do anyway? Except now you're fleecing them, but you're asked to? Rock, is this anything new for you? At least these people are honest about their opinions. No, stay here. Help me to get Our Lady back into the good graces of enjoying our culture. Relaxing, using spice once she remembers how good it is. What is it that you would like? Out of the circus? Is that what you're asking for?
Dude, it's literally what she just asked for. Like, in those exact words.
I would like to stand up, if that's okay.
That's where I was leading towards. I was about to ask that question. So go ahead and make your first roll. And I will screen share so we can get this going. So your hope is to get out of the circus, for him to pull strings and get you guys out of the circus. That sounds good to me.
6.
A 6. All right. We will go ahead and have you mark the 6. And I will take a look at scene 2. I'm going to claim 3 or 11. And I'll claim opposite from you. So I claim an 11. And so Herodura, Diodora, both of you are pushing that. He says, I'm sorry. I'm used to dealing with people who are a little inebriated. You are such clear-headed young children. I am sure we can work something out in due time, but I will need some proof. I will need for Volya to come back to our good graces. Can't do that for you right now. He wants to stand up. He's denying you this claim. This may be the only way you can get out of the circus.
Do I have to, can I stand up now, or does somebody else have to go since I started it?
Nobody else will stand up. You can stand up.
Okay. So I am going to try and, like, bribe him with sexual favors to get him to let us out.
Okay, cool. Oh, by the way, everybody, wipe out your claim because you're in a new conflict. There we go. All right, so you're using pretty for your opportunity then? Go ahead and roll those dice.
3.
A 3. Okay. You claim a 3. I am going to go ahead and claim the 7. So you step in and flirt with him, kind of similar to the way you did with the stormtrooper, I would assume.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, I appreciate the offer, and you are a very, very lovely individual. Just don't mix species as well. You were nothing more than customers to me." Get a sense that he's lying, that he might be a little more fascinated with Herodura than Diodora, but that's his response.
If that's the case, then I think Dee Dee can spot that.
Yeah, I think you get that feeling. He's probably a little bit more interested in Herodura than he is in you. But he's just saying he's not into cross-species relationship as his deflection. He wants to stand up. I think somebody else should stand up at this point.
Yeah, I'm going to stand up.
All right. Inebriated Rock.
Inebriated Rock. And I just like... And is he a Duros or a Rodian? I don't remember.
He's a Duros.
Did
I say he's a Rodian? Okay. I apologize.
Oh, it's okay. So I grab him by... I assume he's wearing some sort of leather jacket, right? I mean, he's a drug dealer.
Yeah, he's got it. There you go. He's got a leather jacket today.
I grab him by the shoulder, and I like threateningly saying, "Is she not good enough for you?"
Nice. Go with tough or outrage.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna go for straight outrage because, like, I can't
Nice.
believe my friend just offered herself up to him and he like backed off, and I'm like, no.
Nice. Let's have you go ahead and re-roll that 3.
Okay.
Son of a gun! You guys got another 3. Oh, you guys are so great at beating me with dice.
Oh, that's good. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you won. You got the thing to claim. It says claim 3 already, so you win the claim. You get in his face, and he scoots back on his little booth in the van. Like, he's heard that you're hyper violent, and he says, "Whoa!"
Scare the shit out of him.
Yeah, he is definitely freaked out here. His little golden eyes, they show fear, and he says, "No, you're right. Yes, you're no good to me in the circus. Just help me take down Volya. If she will not take the spice, then she needs to go, and we will put someone else in charge. Yes, then I get you out of the circus. You can come work for me. Perhaps you could help to distribute spice off of planet. You could get off of the planet. Yes, that's what you want. Yes. So
We're gonna need some kind of collateral. We're gonna need proof that you'll hold up your end of the deal.
He says, Theodora, I'm not sure what I can offer you that will not be taken from you, other than my word.
Does anybody have any ideas of something we could take from him?
Yeah, I also, as the authority, like as Rich, I'm.
Rich, you're also looking for ideas?
Yeah, for collateral, like Theodora's asked for what's some kind of collateral that we have, and he said, "Hey, you just got to take my word."
Well, the biggest collateral we have is that like he wants someone else in power. So like his plan is the collateral, and so our trust to him in not actually sharing this information is collateral.
Cool. So he'll come back with, "I've already given you what my plan is. I mean, involving you in this plan, Volya would be extremely angry if she were to find out that I was gunning for her. I'm trusting you with that, Theodora."
I think I kind of like look him straight in the eyes and like repeat his like official ID number to him to show that she knows it.
Nice. All right. He nods. Very well, Theodora. Very well. Now, you understand what I need to be able to free you from the circus. It is your choice if you use it. And with that, we will bring this scene to a close. And we're going to go ahead and take a break. We're at 38 after the hour. Let's go ahead and take 7 minutes. So at 45 after, or a quarter till the next hour, is when we'll pick back up again. So enjoy, you guys, a 7-minute break, and we'll pick up with scene 3.
Roger,
See you soon.
Dodger.
So far in today's session, we've had stormtroopers at a circus and people going back in the back of the van of a drug dealer. Paul, you back?
Just now.
All right. Perfect timing. We are at scene 3, heating up the story. Tension mounts and the stakes get higher. Setting the scene will be Blaze. Blaze, you can choose an authority figure or a friendship question here.
When it says friendship question, does it have to be my friendship question or can it be any other friendship
It can
question?
be any other one.
Okay.
So if there's a friendship question, you're like, oh, that sounds super cool, then you can ask for that one.
Just looking at the questions. Oh. Who are the reprobates again? Sorry.
I think you guys reprobates.
Oh, where are the reprobates? Oh, fallen. Oh, I'm gonna go with an authority figure, and I think we should go. Do you guys want to stay in the circus scene, or do you want to move a bit out of that to give yourself a bit of a distraction, or do you want to like? The point is to ratchet up the tension, right?
It is.
Okay. All right. So then we should have a scene with what's the head of the circus name?
Sila Volya.
Sila Volya or one of her middlemen.
Let's go with Sila Volya. Is that okay?
Yeah,
we'll have some of her middlemen present. That sounds sounds interesting. Awesome. So now all you need to do is give us kind of the first 5 seconds with the 4 youthful offenders. Introduce us into the scene. Like, are we in Sila Volya's main domain, or?
So we're in the main domain, and she's got 3 stormtroopers there, and as much as we like bribe the stormtrooper, word has been getting out that that we are standing up against her forces, and she's not happy about that.
Oh, really? So this begins with her potentially berating you guys, talking about the incident. Ooh, nice. So we start off with the 4 of you in the center, lying on a divan, which is like a sideways couch kind of thing, propped up on her elbow. Lovely blue skin, flawless complexion, very scantily dressed is Sila Volya. She looks much younger than you would expect someone who leads the circus. She was a performer. She has the cut where her shoulder, her deltoids kind of meet her bicep. You can see that little bit of a cut. When the dress comes down, you can see that she has just a little bit of, the hints of muscle in her abs. And then the 3 stormtroopers are around. There's like this cleaner air here. There's the normal haze that you find because spice addiction being one of the systems of control, and we kind of said that was like a heroin kind of smokable type thing. So normally there would be a very smoke filled hazy room. Here it's clear, lots of yellows and reds. There's a kind of going with like an Arabian feel to it. I guess maybe like circus for some reason. I'm thinking along those lines. So there are drapes that are hung along the walls, and then we have our 3 stormtroopers, one of which is stormtroopers. They all look the same, but it's the one that you guys dealt with from before. We'll call him TK 384. Write that down because I'll forget it in 5 minutes. And Sila Volya's reclined. The 4 of you've been brought before her, and she says, "Children, I have a concern. I'm so glad that the 4 of you came when I asked. I appreciate your time. My understanding is that one of the Empire's stormtroopers wish to escort you to your predefined work assignment. and there was a problem. Is that true?
Is she referencing
Yes.
the incident from earlier?
You think so?
Yeah. And Jean-Free says, yes, the stormtrooper was rude and caused an issue and then hit one of the shows, one of the things that we have on, one of the people we have on display. Could have damaged it.
She looks over to TK384 and she says, "Is this true? You struck one of my performers?" And the stormtrooper straightens up for a moment and says, "I struck the freak. The freak wasn't doing his job." "I'm sorry, but Rock is one of my performers, is he not?" TK384, "I'm disappointed. But of course, you don't report to me. I'll speak with Governor Blackmore about this. Can you please give us a moment alone?" He looks over to the other two stormtroopers, and one of them that has like the orange shoulder pad of authority just waves for him to go. And he leaves you guys in this kind of tent area. A hot Ryloth wind blows through when he lifts up the flap and heads outside. Theodora, you noticed as she was almost dressing down, but very indirectly with the stormtrooper, that she reached over and she scratched it at her wrist for a moment. She's wearing, as everyone would be wearing, one of the bracelets, and you see that she has the red Death Star charm bracelet that's hanging down. Children, I want all of you to be comfortable here because I do ask you to work very hard. Putting on the best possible show is very important to me, and it is, as you have likely heard, your best chance to find a new life. Doesn't that interest you?
If you want us to be comfortable, stop calling us children.
Very well, Herodura.
Because as far as I'm concerned, you, like every one of us, are property. And property doesn't own property.
Your father knows you're here, Herodura. Your father approves.
My father can suck a bantha's ass.
I think we've entered a struggle. But I'm not sure. Like at this point, you guys, she's trying to play magnanimous. You're not having it. What are you hoping to get from her? What she wants is your compliance, right? She wants things to be easier for her. And she wants to sell you a bunch of false hope.
Well, if I'm going to stand up, then what I would like to hope for out of this scene is to get her to expose something we can use against her in the future.
Nice. Okay, cool. So you are standing up then, and that hope makes a lot of sense to me. So let's go ahead and have you put something at risk and make your first roll.
I think this has got to be outrage.
That makes sense.
Given what I just said. So I will roll
You're being outrageous. Sorry.
Not on your screen, but on the roll for your party
screen. Roll on my screen, please.
That's a 2. Not a very useful.
Not very useful at all. I am going to claim the 10. And so you say your father can suck banthas. Poodoo, she laughs, and her laughter is genuine. Like it's not a mocking laughter. That is funny to her. And she sits up in her divan and says, "You are in the right place, Herodura. You are beautiful. You move. You move like a saber cat. You will go so far here at the circus if only you will just apply yourself. All of you have a future off of Ryloth if you would just try harder at the circus. Stop making trouble with these stormtroopers. It will only end you up in the spice mines of Kessel.
Why aren't you off planet then?
Oof, oof, oof. You're going at her again. What are you putting at risk? Paul, did you mean to mute?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
I just, since we found that keyboard shortcut, I tend to just use it all the time.
It's so addictive. Control D is the best thing ever. Except when you're trying to talk.
I think that this is going to be bad because I'm sort of playing on his natural tendency to be contrary and
all right, you're being
a
bad.
little wicked.
Roll it.
So I'm rolling it. And that's a 10.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Shit.
Yeah, that is good for me, bad for you. So
sorry guys.
All right.
You were too bad.
So yeah, you come back at her like, why are you still on this planet? When she's promised you guys all these opportunities, that you will lose this struggle because you have rolled the number she has claimed.
I will sell out bad.
Yeah. Okay. So, and this is the first time that Blaze has seen this, so let's make sure that we define this well. So you've gone from bad to perverse. You've gone from being the bad boy to something that is sick and twisted, and other people will, like your friends are going to remember this moment as a thing when you went too far. So let's see. You get some narration here. How do you go too far with pushing this on Silavolia, the circus coordinator? Recruiter.
Give me just 1 second to think about that.
Okay, absolutely.
So
you definitely hit her on a really good nerve. So you could easily just keep pushing. I'm sorry, Paul. I didn't mean to talk about you.
This is how I go too far. I say, perhaps Governor Blackmore has charms that aren't evident. Maybe he fills a hole inside you that you never knew existed. Or perhaps he lets you call him Daddy? I don't know. Maybe that's why you're still here.
Her face kind of draws in, and you can tell there's revulsion there, that the mere suggestion of it. And Theodora, you sense why, right? You know why. But there are two stormtroopers here, and she, just like you, is a slave. And so she can't protest. You have trumped her in the most vicious way possible. And instead she says, of course I find Governor Blackmore appealing, who would not wish to stay here on our own home planet. I think that perhaps all four of you should return to for the evening, retire for the evening. I need to go. And with that, she will get up and quickly leave. And that will bring that scene to a close as you just take Silavolia down a few pegs in front of some stormtroopers. That was pretty brilliant. Good job, team.
Sorry to have snaked that scene, guys. I really didn't think that the second roll would be the last roll.
You're only basing it on the history of us, so usually going like 10 rolls in. That was good. Okay. You may have made an enemy out of Celephalia. She thinks that you are definitely out to hurt things. Now we're in scene 4. We won. Looks like everything's going to go just fine for the clique. And so maybe whatever trump you used on Celephalia rolls forward. That could be possibly a thing to think about. Noella, you get to frame the scene and make a decision. Do you want to have an authority figure or a friendship question? We haven't had any friendship questions on the board so far.
So I want to do a friendship question since we haven't done any.
Yay!
So not to be like self-centered, but I am going to use my question to Rock. So what trauma have we shared? So we've just kind of left from that very uncomfortable incident. And I think we're back at like the trailer and kind of all doing our own thing. And I think some people are like eating inside, and Deodora is sitting outside because she is too nauseous to eat after that very uncomfortable incident for many reasons. And I think at the start of the scene, Rock kind of finds her outside, but of course Jean-Bray and Heradur are both very close, just inside of the trailer, so they can come outside at any point.
Okay, cool. But let's go ahead and
You're doing what I was about to ask.
Yep. So I like that scene framing a lot. But let's go ahead and answer that question, and then we'll kind of lean into that as we continue with the framing. So I do want to know what is the trauma that Rock and Deodora, Rakuso and Deodora have shared? Blaze, what do you think is the answer to that question?
I think we've I'm afraid to go near X-card territories. Okay. I'm afraid that we saw someone else being abused beyond, like, or we were used as witnesses, like, you know, basically in order. Okay, I think I got it. So, in order for us to stay in line in the past, we were shown what treason looks like from the eyes of our captors. And so we were basically, the trauma that we saw is that it's like being, you know, shackled or at gunpoint while someone else is being beaten to death or something vile happens to them. And so it's like as a way to explain what is the cost of betrayal.
Nice. Wow. Okay. That's rough. Yeah. So you've seen a wayward Twi'Lek be tortured to death, then shot, beaten, that kind of thing. Probably one that wasn't super attractive and would have made a good exotic pet. Maybe a hint towards your future, Rakusa. That's nasty.
Also, maybe someone who was not reproducing correctly.
Oh, that's rough. Nice. Oh, he's sterile. And he's ugly. Who would want what he could produce? That's gross. Okay. So you guys have this small area that is cordoned off for where you can sleep. I imagine that it's a very tight quarters, so there are not just the 4 of you. There are probably maybe 6, 7 more. It's almost 10 to 12 per cubicle area, like not an office cubicle, but like some kind of cube-shaped area that sits right outside of the Thunderdome and the pavilion tents and all that stuff, where you guys have to sleep in very tight bunks. And you're able to kind of move about this particular area. It's like a pinned-in area, so there are probably like laser fences on the exterior and some stormtroopers that keep eyes on things, but like a concentration camp, one might say. But there you guys are. You have your moments to yourself, and you were right outside with Rock, correct, Theodora? Cool. And I'm going to say that we established that for a few moments, and then um, I'm going to say that Gita Distombe, who is another performer, she's not only very attractive and thin, but she's a contortionist. She has like double jointed, all of that, and she comes out and pulls up a small stool to sit beside you, Theodora. Did you hear, Dia? Did you hear the good news?
What good news?
Daisha. She's with child. They
What?
say maybe twins.
With who?
Well, she seems like with Overson.
So I stand up for a second. I'm like, sorry, what's her name again?
It's Gita.
Gita. Excuse me, Gita. I think I've eaten a little bit of bad food, and so I kind of like walk a little bit like away from her, and maybe like kind of like behind like the trailer, and kind of just like lay down in the grass.
Okay. Would Rakusa, would he know about your relationship with Daisha?
I think so.
So Gita Distombe, another Twi'Lek, Rock, she just came out not knowing about Diodora's relationship with Daisha. The two of them, both females, they were in some kind of relationship before. You probably witnessed it. That Daisha was taken away. You guys were sent to the circus. She was not. And Ovason, who's the leader of the Imperial Youth, evidently Gita is saying that Daisha is pregnant with Ovason's child, possibly children. And she's very excited about it. And then so Diodora walks away, and Gita looks confused. And she looks over at you. I thought that they were friends and she would be pleased. Ovason is well placed. Their child should be well.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out what level do I blow up at.
Do you go to a 10 or an 11 or 11.5?
Or a 13. Let's go to a 13. And I'm like, I just flipped the table. I just freaking flipped the entire table. Just
awesome.
there's nothing to say beyond flipping an entire table and like saying like none. I flipped the table and I'm like I just look at her and I want to do bad things, but there's there's nothing bad beyond like what just did. So I look at her and I give her like a strange I want to hurt you, but I just walk away. I just like my importance is to sorry, Noella, what's your character's name again? What's Noella's character?
Theodora or DD.
DD. So I go after DD. Like, yeah.
So I think that I'm going to step in. So Sean Frey has been listening, right? She was inside, but she was kind of eavesdropping. And where she saw all this explosion and stuff, Sean Frey comes outside, and Gita Distambe is, kind of freaked out. Some violence just happened, and kind of stepped back, and I think Chanfrey walks over, sneaks over next to Gita and says, I'm sure that they're sorry. I'm guessing that they're sorry that they aren't with child as well, and they're just jealous.
Oh, she shouldn't. She shouldn't try to procreate with him. They could have sick children. If he
Oh,
can even.
I don't know that it's the two of them. I just know that they're both upset because they can't, they haven't yet,
Oh.
right? And of course, Rock is upset because of what you just said, that maybe he shouldn't. And doesn't that make sense?
It does. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought it would be happy news.
Well, you couldn't have told any different. I mean, did you so I'm gonna ask a question out of character for a moment. This scene is where we've won, right?
Yes.
And we're angling in that direction. Okay, so I'm gonna angle in that direction if you don't mind me taking over a little bit.
Absolutely. Go for it.
So so Chanfrey turns to Gita and says, I understand that there might be some what's the right, not necessarily contention, but some weakness with Sila Volya, and her connection into the Empire. There seems to be a little bit of distress there, and maybe as the second in command here, maybe you would be best ready to take over. We have connections here that could connections out into the city that would help bring more people to watch the performers and probably increase the importance here. But the cost is that there would have to be more spice and other entertainment here. Do you think that you'd be interested in being in charge here?
I feel the Sila Volya has done an excellent job in helping our people to find new ways to be safe. You're right, though, the governor is displeased with her. She has refused his advances. And that is unwise.
Surely you wouldn't do such a thing.
He is handsome for a human. You're very smart.
I lived on the street for a long time before I came to the circus, and the circus is such a wonderful opportunity. I look forward to learning an entertainment craft.
What entertainment craft would you like?
Oh, something. Of course, I'm too young right now to be a full-blown performer. I haven't grown into my uh, adult, seeming. But right now, I really like um, dexterous things like juggling performances and uh, sleight of hand magic kind of stuff. I really enjoy that. The look on people's faces when they see such things, it's just amazing.
Oh, and there are very few jugglers who are beautiful young girls. She gets very excited about this. She kind of walks over and digs through. There's a trunk that's inside the cubicle area, and she comes out with a few. I'd say a few spheres, right? And she, can you juggle at all? And she starts juggling a couple of them with one hand. Very it's just matter of course. Like she can do it so easily.
Um, I can. I'm willing to learn. We'll see.
Yeah, interesting. I will teach you how to juggle, Jean-Frey. I can show you what you need to do, how to entertain the crowds. This is something that Volya has taught me, and something that I will be happy to pass on to you. And I'm sure that if Volya were to pass on to me, then perhaps you could be an advisor. That would be Interesting. One as young as you, everyone looks past you, don't they?
You are showing that you're wiser and don't belong in a place of power. Whenever they see me in my janitor uniform, they say things around me that no one else notices.
She's very pleased at that aspect of custodial spies. Herodura, what have you been up to in this scene?
Well, if my personal life, when I have gone too far, even if it won the point that I was trying to make. So I'm looking back at the last scene. So probably what I'm doing is sitting on my bunk and going, oh man, I'm a dick. Because I have experience with saying that to myself. Out of character.
I can come to that one as well. It is a rough time of that aftermath. Yeah. Okay.
But I think I'm actually going to, and I think I'm going to see if anyone has a death stick that Herodura can bum, and then he'll step outside, and so he'll walk into this holding a death stick that he owes someone for, and flick it alight with his thumb and start puffing. So
you
out
step
in the middle of that.
John Frey and Gita have been commiserating for a little bit, and if you look over into the NPCs and notes, I found a pretty good picture of Gita. She's a red-skinned Twi'Lek, and she's just teeny. She's skinny as a rail, but still pretty, very beautiful face. And she looks over at you, Jean Frey, and then she like leans in when she looks up at Herodura and says, "Isn't he got to be impossible to work with? He's just so handsome."
He is driven, and once you know him, he seems almost like he's a different species because he comes from such a family of privilege. You know what I'm talking about. So I mean, death sticks aren't easy to get a hold of. He must have used his contacts with the spice dealer underground in order to get it. It just shows how connected he is.
Herodura, why are you stuck here? With where your father is, you could have children, a pair of concubines if you'd like.
Haven't you ever heard of running away and joining the circus? That's essentially what I did. I was bored with being a rich man's son. I decided to see how the other half lived.
How do you find it? It's got to be kind of terrible.
I take a couple steps over and gently run a finger down her left leku and say, it has its moments.
Nice. Let's cut away to Rakusa and approaching Diodora. So where does Rock find you, Diodora, after that pretty troubling news? Pretty troubling being an understatement, sorry.
Yeah. I think behind the trailer, kind of pretty obscured from view.
Rock, what do you do?
I awkwardly ask her if she needs anything. Like, do you need anything? Like,
So I think I'm like sobbing into the grass. So I like take a big breath as I like sit up, and I kind of look at him, and I say, "Do I need something? I need for the last hour. I need the last 2 hours of my life back. I need to forget that my love is like bred with the devil. That my only family here. Wait, let me change that. So I say that my love is bred with the devil, and then I kind of look at him and I say, like, when we met, what Herodura said to Sela, those were the kinds of things they said to us in the camp, at camp. It just brings it all back.
just remember who's your family now. Like, people outside, they don't know. They're not real anymore. Like, we're the only thing that's real.
I know, but even so, it could still happen. Like, you remember what happened to when we were young. I think I hear those kinds of things, and I think that's I'm 1 or 2 steps away from that being me. Sela, I kind of hold up my wrist, and the charm is on it, and I'm like, Sela had one of these. Sela is like me. I'm expendable to him. She's expendable to him. I'm expendable to him.
So we fight. Like, we either die like others. Like, what was the name of the person that was abused? Do we have a name? Can we just make up a name?
Yeah, let's make up a name. Let me really quickly grab a Twi'Lek name from Names and Species. We will call them Ola.
Ola. So we either give in like Ola, or we die. Or we die trying. That's it. Like, either we fight and we die trying, or we fight and die not trying. That's it.
I know. And I want to fight. I don't want to give up. But when both sides start to sound the same, it's hard to tell who's a friend and who's a foe.
Say, well, friend is the one that's here right now.
I kind of embrace him, and I say, I know you're my friend, Brock, and I want to be your friend. Maybe that's a good place to stop that part.
Yeah, I think that's a good cut. I'm gonna tilt the scene a little bit. So trying to lean into we won, with the conversation between Hera, Dura, and our brand new introduced Gita Distombe. She says, Hera, Chamfrey, we should go and confront Salia. Let her know what we know. We can topple her. We can make this right. She doesn't lead as well as I could lead. Chamfrey, you're right. We need to do this.
So, Chamfrey's, of course we do. We need backup because right now, Sila Volya has, the backup from the Imperials, and we need to show that we have people behind us. Just 3 of us, 5 of us can't necessarily do this. Harador, do you think your friend Ilor Vuktu could help? And I think at this point, and I should have done this before, maybe I'm standing up with Sneak to try to convince her to make an alliance with the Spice Dealer.
Nice. Let's do it. So your hope is to unseat Volya by making an alliance between Gita and Vuktu. That sounds awesome. Let's do that. So I am going to set that up as our thing. That's your hope.
Right.
Let's go ahead and have you roll your opening salvo here to set your first thing. What are you putting at risk?
Sneaky.
Makes total sense. Sorry, you even said that at the outset. All right, roll it.
Okay. 5.
2 and 3. You claim a 5. I, as the authority in this scene, claim 6 or 8. No, that is weird, Karked-up. I'm 1 ahead. 2 or 12. So I'll claim the 12. I would find it hard. Lord Vuktu is not very trustworthy. Perhaps we should just go.
We don't have the resources. He does. It's clear that without deeper pockets and a wider network, we're biting off more than we can chew, taking on Sila Volya. So I'm very reasonably standing up.
Nice.
Okay.
Diodora, so let's just say that Rock and Diodora, Didi, the two of you have come back into this conversation, so you're able to hear this and also kind of take part in the struggle. So that's a very logical and reasonable standing up. So why don't you go ahead and what are you using to claim?
I am risking rich because that seems like the thing that would give me that sort of reasoned analysis.
Do it.
Reroll selected. That's a 3.
All right. You claim the 3, and I will claim a 2. She says, "You're right. We need reinforcement. Ilor Vuktu is not one of us." And she looks over to you, Didi. How do you know that we can trust him? He's an off-worlder, just like the others.
I'm going to stand up with Smart.
All right. What are you gonna roll here?
2.
Oh, snap! I have claimed 2.
Oh, sorry. I thought you did it because my things are messed up. So, oops.
No, it's okay. I mean, you're just rolling a dice anyway, so it's not like you can tell it what to roll. Cool. So you roll a 2, which means that you will fail in convincing her to ally with Ilor Vuktu unless you wish to sell out.
I am going to sell out.
Nice. So
what does that become? Pedantic?
Smart becomes pedantic. Yes, it does. Oh, so what does this look like? How is it that you become, and if do you have a general working knowledge of pedantic? I can look it up. And
I'm not quite sure what that would look like.
Pedantic is lectury, Oh, you have the definition from the book? That's even better.
Yep, I do. Give me a second. I will tell you. Spell it correctly. Come on, don't crash. My PDF reader has been crashing occasionally, and it looks like it doesn't want. Haha! Hold on. Okay. Under pedantic says, solid means conviction that's about you being a jerk and correcting everyone all the time with your voluminous knowledge. So pedantic is like gamer. Like, sorry.
So, I think in the moment, I am gonna say like, oh, like I'm gonna point out that we have leverage on what's his name? Drug dealer. What's the drug dealer?
Voktu?
We have leverage on Elar Voktu.
well, actually, we have leverage on him. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, well, actually, we have the leverage on Elar Voktu, and then I think, you know, as we kind of go on in more scenes, I can just be like snob about like, you know, knowledgey things. So I say like, oh well, we do in fact have leverage on Elar Voktu, so he will do exactly as I say.
Ooh, that's got to be a little chilling. I like it. Good. So you have convinced Gita to throw in with you and Elar Voktu to overthrow Sila Volya. I think that will bring that scene to a close. So let's move. And I'm trying to speed things up. Oh, yeah.
If you don't mind, I'd like just a real brief scene with Rock.
Absolutely. What do you got?
I think after the discussion where Rock and Dee Dee had the discussion about, you know, we're a family, we're friends, that kind of stuff. Sean Frey, as soon as we've made our plans and we're all kind of celebrating our success, Sean Frey goes back into the trailer and comes out with the outfit that she's been working on, and she presents it to Rock. And what this is sort of like a sleeve for his one Leku with kind of a false Leku in it as well, so he could pass if he wanted to. And Sean Frey says, I've been working on this for a little while because I know what it's like to be ignored and treated differently. And it's important that we stick together as a family. And I think this might help you.
Okay. I look at it, and at first I'm like, I'm like, I take it and I'm like, why do you think I need this? Like, I'm about like blowing up and saying a whole bunch of stuff, and then I'm like, you know, I'm not weak. I'm like, look at me. I'm a towering figure, and I'm big, and I can take you on, and I can take everyone on, and then I just start like choking up, and there are like tears that start raining down my throat, and I just fall on the ground, and I just start crying.
And I think Sean Frey kind of pats you on the back and says, we all know you do not need this. We accept you for who you are and how you are. It's others who don't know you that you, this might make things easier for you. Don't wear it if you don't want to. And certainly don't wear it around us, because we know the real you. But if you're concerned about others treating you differently, this might help with them.
I like quietly say in the sobbing, thank you.
Wow. That was an interesting tag to the We Won. I like it. All right. So thank you for adding that in. I will go with the authority. Scene 5, we're carked. The clique suffers an awful setback, and the second beat is introduced. And so I can introduce a friendship question or an authority figure. Let me take a glance here. We've already gotten the what trauma have we shared, and that was pretty, well, quote unquote fun. Mhm. I'm really curious about this. Jean Vray, what is the most significant thing you've stolen from Herodura?
Jean Frey has informed on Herodura to his parents. So what she stole was his privacy.
Wow. That's hilarious.
Ready to rumble.
So I get to phrase the first 5 seconds of this scene, and what we see is the 4 of you and Elor Vuktu with a number of other non-Twi'leks. Like there's a few other Duros, there's a few Rhodians, there's even, this is for you, Blaze, there's even a Trandoshan who's there. He's got the big repeating blaster. And you guys are all busting your way in the first 5 seconds. It's like thrumming John Williams music, action sequence coming, and you burst into the scene of the pavilion where Silavolia is, and you've got Ilor Vuktu smart. He's not here. You've just got some mercenary thugs. You're here to take her down. And you've got Gita Distombe with you, and Silavolia is there. She's got a few stormtroopers. So that is me, like hard frame you guys right into the middle of a pretty big conflict. Well, I don't want to necessarily say that we're immediately in the struggle, but I'll give you guys a moment. So what is it that you guys want to do as you're being led into this big fight, especially Jean Frey, the sneaky? How are you handling this? Looks like they're obviously coming gunning. This could be bad.
Yeah. So she holds back. Everyone else kind of runs in, and she's kind of slipping in behind everyone, maybe hiding behind. I like the idea of hiding behind Herodura.
I'm cool with that.
Nice. Herodura, are you actually wearing clothes, or are you still going in? My bronze chest is my armor. No, I'm joking.
Isn't there an Apocalypse World move?
Yes.
Yes.
The less clothes you have, the more armor you have. Herodura is such a bounty.
Yeah, I think I will stand up first and then probably get knocked down first, so I'm cool with that. I just say, Sela, your time is up. Stand down. And I think I am just risking my black sheep, because that I'm working for privilege, so I'm risking my MO, my upper class black sheep MO, working with privilege.
That sounds awesome. Let's go ahead and share that thing. So we're already we're in conflict. I just hard frame the heck out of us because it's 3:40. So I want to make sure we get through. Here we go.
6.
All right. You have rolled a 6. You guys claim 6. I will claim 8. And she directs the stormtroopers, and they draw down, and the Trandoshan starts firing his repeating blaster, and things are going badly. Who wants to stand up?
Jean Frey will stand up. She's going to just go like wild child on one of the stormtroopers.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. So I'm going to risk tough. And the idea is just to knock one of them down so that they can't hurt anyone.
All right. Go ahead and roll and see what you claim.
Yeah. Give me a second to get to my dice.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You use physical dice because you're cool like that.
Well, no, I'm using the digital one. So I've got an 8.
Oh! Oh goodness, that means you fail.
Ah,
Yes.
shizzle.
And I did tough. What does it sell out to?
Tough sells out to vicious.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell out to vicious.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you win the day. You guys win the day, but there's stuff that you do that is extremely vicious. What does it look like?
Yeah, so I think that what this looks like is, at first you see this little girl jump on the back of this stormtrooper, and it's not that big of a deal. And then you see her rip the helmet off, and it comes down on the trooper's head, and you hear this crunch. Like over everything else, you just hear this crunch. And she looks up at the rest of them with this bloodied helmet and says, you know, Sila Vera? What's her name?
Sila Volia.
Sila Volia? Um, it's in your best interest to stop this now.
Nice. Nice. And that the stormtroopers, Sila raise their hands, the stormtroopers drop their blasters, and that is how we end that scene. Yes, you saw
Also,
Jean very vicious. Yes.
Herodora backs away slowly.
It's a moment when Judd Nelson, instead of raising his fingerless gloves to the sky in triumph, is a little scared of the little girl who just destroyed a stormtrooper, like a fucking Ewok or something. Man, it was crazy. All right, awesome. That is great. Let's go ahead and jump straight into scene 6. Who wins? We find out who wins the episode, and the question is answered. The question of, will you guys make it out of the will you make it out of the circus? Will you gain some freedom from that system of control? That is our question, right? All right. What authority figure or friendship question would you like, Paul? You're unmuted.
I am no longer muted. I would actually like, and I'm going to be selfish this time, but Noella will also have some fun. I would like to bring in my father, her uncle, the esteemed Dinek Dura.
Whoa, the governor's major domo.
And I feel like Chandre has fed him a little info.
So I think this is your dad, right, Herodora?
Yeah, that was past tense. The friendship question. Are you still informing?
I think that's how your dad knows that you were here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what do the first 5 seconds look like? Like, where are we?
We are in that same pavilion, but Guida Distombe is reclining on the divan because she hasn't had a chance to redecorate yet. So she's slumming it on the former regime's luxury items. And she's probably, since she promised Xianfrei that she would be an advisor, probably the 4 of us are there sort of as an unofficial, she thinks, coterie of yes men, yes persons, yes beings.
Mm-hmm.
But she really doesn't know what she's getting into. So the scene starts looking a lot like at least 2 others of this episode have, but then ends, then we'll probably veer astray. So we're gathered around, probably sitting on cushions, whatever, talking.
Nice. And I'm going to add just like one other thing. The camera pans over and there's the big Ilor Vuktu hookah kind of vase type thing that is seated near or placed right by the divan. It's the only new furniture that we see. And you guys are on those pillows and you hear the sound of like a ship coming closer, and the transition steps inside and he says, Lady Kita, Major Domo is here. What do we do? Kita sits up. She leans over and takes another hit from the of spice. Sorry.
The spice hookah.
Yes. I don't know why the word just skipped out of my head. Spice hookah. And she says, we must speak with the governor's major domo, of course. And very quickly we see some imperial youth come marching in. And then the major domo, your father, Herodora, your uncle, Diodora, comes walking in. He's wearing a resplendent robe. He looks very tired because this is late at night when this coup happened. We don't know what happened to Sila Volio. Like, we didn't see her get shot on screen. We're not sure at this point. And he comes in and he says, oh, son. My son. My niece. Please explain what has happened here.
We did what we had to gain influence, just as you always have. Only we did it without lying down.
Gitadura tries to break up that terribleness and says, No. Sila Volio has ceded leadership of the circus to I. We will all work together to increase profits and make sure that everything works according to plan. There will be no further delays in any of the scheduled shipments off-world of talent and pets. And he says, good, we must keep everything timely. Very well. My son, I am proud of you. Seems that you have found something that you're good at.
I spit onto the carpet.
I think we've entered a struggle. What is your hope?
Oh, see, here's the thing, because I think Herodora's hope is just to piss his father off as much as possible.
Oh, he's such a rebel.
But can anyone help me with what we hope to get out of this struggle? To be left alone to do what we're doing so we can dismantle this thing? Is
What
that
about
a good one?
getting some dirt on your dad so that he does leave us alone? Is that the same? What do you think?
Well, we got dirt on Sela and then still had to shoot her,
Right.
or shoot in her direction. So do we? I'm just thinking, since we're in the who wins scene, should we just make it as Rich? How do you feel about making it as clear cut as he'll leave us alone for now?
I think so. You're basically posing the hope to answer the question, which the scene is here to answer the question. So it's fine. They all tie into each other. I'm okay with that. So let's go ahead and have that as our framing then. That's your hope. Why don't you go ahead and roll? What are you putting at risk there?
Since this is the first one, I'm going to go ahead and risk, since it's not much of a risk, I'm going to put my disorder up, my wants real respect, because that seems to fit with both wanting to piss his father off and wanting to be left alone to do this thing.
Pretty clever. Let's see how it goes.
That's a 5.
5. All right. With a 5, then I get to claim. Let's see what I'm told I must claim and who wins. A 5 or a 9. So I'll take a 9. Cool. So what was the last thing you said? I'm sorry. We stepped away and I kind of lost the moment. So.
Well, in this particular case, all I've done so far is spit on the carpet.
Spit on the ground. He says, son, you never fail to disappoint me, even at your zenith. obviously you'll need to be taken away for free education. And with that, he gestures, and some of the Imperial youth start to move forward.
I stand up. I stand up. Like
there we
I
go.
just like I explode. Like I'm like I go at his father, and like I'm going to use him. Like I'm just going to use him as a pawn. I'm going to like
do it. Okay, what are you putting at risk?
Yeah, I'm going to put outrage at risk. Like,
all right,
and yeah,
roll that bad boy.
Okay. Reroll.
7. Oh, that's a great one. You don't win, but you got something really, really strong there. I'm going to take the 6. So you didn't win because you had a claim number of 5 and you didn't roll 5, but you've just now claimed 7, which of course is the highest percentage chance. So things are looking good for you guys. So you run forward and you grab his father, right?
Yep.
You do that thing. And maybe you like slam him to the ground, and the stormtrooper's gonna run up and try to shoot you. Who wants to stand up?
I'll stand up. So I am going. Well, first of all, I'm going to intervene in the fight, but I'm also going to appeal to Dinek Dora's sense of altruism to get us to leave him alone. So I'll go with altruism.
What does that look like? Just give me just a flash. It doesn't need to be too long, but I'm kind of curious. How are you appealing to his altruism when he's getting beaten up by his son?
Well, technically, he's not being beat up by his son.
Oh, I'm sorry, beaten up by his son's friend. Sorry, you're right. I screwed that up.
Well, first of all, I'm going to break up the physical fight and then say to him, like, this is a chance for, like, Herodora to prove himself.
Okay. Nice. All right, cool. So suck it up. There we go. I love it. Do that then. Go ahead and roll.
10?
Okay, 10, which means you separate the fight and he scampers back in a way. And I will make a claim as well because I sometimes forget to do that. I'm going to take the 4. I'm taking the 4. Yeah, I'm taking the 4. All right, committed to it. Taking the 4, and he scampers away, and he is livid. Like there's spittle coming out, and he says, he like screams out this like slur, like a Twi'Lek slur. I don't know the word. We'll just like we subtitle it. It is slur for lesbian at you. And he says, I will make you a breeder. All of you will fall to money. You will do what I say. I'm tired of this. My son, you spat upon me. I spit upon you.
I will stand up.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. And I will step directly between the two of them. So if he does spit, he would be spitting on me. And I say, there are other ways to deal with this, as we both know. You have your ways of watching from afar, and I'm using sneaky.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Let's see what that looks like. I got an 8.
Oh, I knew I should have claimed 8. I was so close. You saw me hovering over 8. I could have won this conflict. Oh, I'm so mad. I'll take an 11. Good. So you step in the way. The spit hits you. Like he spat. You stepped in the way. It hits you on the shirt, Jean-Vray. And at this point, he stands up and he screams at the stormtroopers. No, he screams at the Imperial youth. Take them all. Take them all. We will decide this later. No more talking. Just all of them. Just grab them and drag them away.
Can I stand up?
Sure.
I'm going to stand up with my MO, my eloquent speaking and debate skills.
Oh. You can't sell out the MO, right, Paul? Isn't that
I thought it was only the disorder.
It's the disorder. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah, the disorder has to be last.
I'm putting a note. I'm putting a note. Okay, good. You can do that.
Well, I got an 11.
did? I was just adding my notes.
I got an 11, so I'm gonna have to sell out.
You got an 11! Yay! Yay! I mean,
so this is okay because I have the perfect thing to sell out to. If that's okay.
Okay, what do you sell out to?
Violence.
So you go from it is amazing. I love it. So you go from eloquent speaking and debate skills to violence. What does that look like?
This looks like, I'm gonna say I don't kill him because that would have too many bad repercussions, but like, so he has called me this really nasty word and has kind of lost his cool, and I kind of like move Sionre out of the way. I like walk up to him, and I've got like this really like death stare thing going on. He thinks I'm about to say something to him because I like kind of step up to him, and I just like punch him so hard in the face that his like neck snaps back, and I say, "You will not speak to me like that."
Wow, that is cool. Sweet. And I think he cows, you cause him to lose face, and he gets up and he's going to run away. Like he scampers away, and his robes are all dirty and covered with spit, and it's not good. He runs away. Yeah, spit. There's lots of spit there. And you guys win, right? So we, due to time, here's what I propose. We can, if we want, just go ahead and stop here. And next week we can do scene 7 and aftermath. Or if we want to, if everybody has like 5-10 minutes, we can obviate a struggle in Dust Settles, because it really is a moment of reflection and setup of the next episode, and not have a struggle and just kind of talk through that scene. That means we start an episode clean, but it does mean that we've got to go a little bit over. What are the thoughts from you guys?
I have a couple minutes, and since I will definitely not be here next week, I'm not even on the wait list because I have another obligation. I would love it if everybody else also has a couple minutes to sort of talk through.
And then we'll do our feedback and everything else after next session. We're just going to focus on trying to push this through. Are you okay with that, Steven?
Yeah.
Noella, you okay? Blaze, you all right? All right, awesome. So, Steven, you framed this one. And again, we're kind of stepping away from the system, but I think it'd be nice to be able to finish this while we still have Heradur on board. So, during Aftermath, you've got the framing as a moment of reflection and setup of the next episode. You guys, the answer to the question is, will you get out of the circus? The answer is yes. You won that conflict. You had to sell out to do it. Yay. But you have won that conflict. So how do you want to phrase the setup?
So this is the first 5 seconds or so.
Yes, sir.
So we're all together, and I think that this is the scene. The new head of the circus is there, as well as Elorvuktu.
Mm-hmm.
And they are making their deal, and we are witnesses.
Nice, cool. So the deal, just again, is Elorvuktu speaking with Gita now?
Yes.
Awesome. So they're making their deal. You guys are just witnesses for it. It looks like she's negotiating for some better living situation for herself and possibly you guys. And then Elorvuktu, he says, no. I've promised them that they will be free from this. I have other ideas in mind for these few. You will find other advisors. And that's when Gita looks to you, Jean-Frey, because like she thought you guys had a connection. What do you do?
And I think Jean-Frey leans forward and whispers in her ear and says, in Gita's ear, and says, no one notices the dirty little janitor. and then kind of leans back.
Cool. And she seems to take that as, okay, you're still going to be on her side, right? And so the negotiations continue a little bit. So I'm curious to check in with Dee Dee here, because Silavolia, she was unseated, but was she killed?
I think she has become an exotic pet and is currently being auctioned off to someone.
Oh God. Okay. Sweet. So then Dee Dee, we'll just kind of we'll phrase that in that, like, outside, you can see outside of the circus and the Thunderdome into the market square here. And you see she's up on the block.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of something more like a private auction.
Oh, okay.
Well, in that case, it could literally be like on the display.
Yeah.
As we're talking,
Nice.
You can see the prices coming in.
Yeah, you see the little number of credits that are going up, and you can hear the voiceover talking about all of her fine attributes, and they're showing footage of her before she became, the main recruiter for the circus, when she was a performer. They mention that she is good breeding stock, and the like. It's cool. So what's going on with Dee Dee is she, of course, that's going on the hollow.
It's hard. I mean, she didn't personally like Silavolia, but she's feeling guilty about what's happened to her. And also, I'm going to say that at camp, they practiced auction etiquette and behavior. So this is a little, it's very sore for her, and she feels extremely guilty because she feels like, because of what like Paradura did, she's now in this situation, and Dee Dee feels like, responsible for Herodura's behavior.
That's true.
Because of what Herodura did, we were all there when the mercenaries backed us up and took her down.
Oh, no, I mean, well, more like what you said to her when you
because he was mean to her in the previous scene, but you were there when we had the armed rebellion.
Well, yes, but you were the ringleader, so I mean, we're all guilty, but just thinking about what Herodura did.
It's good.
Whatever it takes to let you sleep at night. Whatever it takes.
Fair enough. All right. Cool. Good. So what about, we get you back next session, Blaze. So I'm very excited about that. What is going on for Rock here?
In the aftermath?
Yes.
There's a bit of I think confidence. I think are you asking for a scene, or like?
I think we have time for a whole scene, so I'm just kind of, I want to get an impression.
So in a sense, there's a sense of confidence that's being built in him. The best thing we can hope for is that he actually wears the Liku, the artificial Liku brace, as a way to like try to set himself up, even if it's in private. Looking at himself in the mirror and trying to see if this is something that would help, or if it just looks stupid.
Nice. I kind of like that. And then what about Jean Frey? What do we see for her at the end of this session?
I think Jean Frey is by herself, kind of in her bunk, and she's kind of looking at the aftermath of the blood on her hands from the stormtrooper. This has happened before. This is before the last session.
Okay.
And you see a lot of sorrow. You see a lot of, kind of this self-realization. What have I become?
Nice.
And then she gets up and she goes over and she washes off her hands. and then dries them off and goes outside to go to the meeting with Herodura's father.
And then we'll give last word, kind of epilogue. It's not forever that you're going away, but you won't be here with us next session. So what's the epilogue for this episode for Herodura?
This is going to be really gross morally, but it's ambiguous, and I'm asking for you to reserve judgment until we find out what actually happens. Herodura is using an account that he established before he left home in some anonymous or otherwise shielded account to bid on Sila Volia. The reason that he's doing it is unknown.
That's nice, and that's nice. That's very CD Star Wars Misspent Youth. Thank you. Cool. So that will bring our session to a close. Thank you guys for giving me a few extra minutes so that we could wrap up this particular episode. We will be having Blaze back. Jason from session 1 will be able to return to us as long as he's not super busy. He's had a hectic past few weeks. I'm hoping he's able to join us. And then Keith, hopefully doesn't have orientation conflicts. So we'll have a few returning members as we continue forward into technically episode 3 of our game. Thank you all so much for playing with me this afternoon. It's been a pleasure, and I feel like we're getting a more solid handle on Misspent Youth. I feel a little bit more comfortable with this game, and it's mostly because you guys have been so giving and thoughtful and helping me to continue to adjust and tweak as we go. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you in a week. Unless you're Paul, then we won't.
Thank you, guys.
Take care, guys.
Bye.